Is there? All right, it's just about there.
Let me know.
Oh,
We kind of give them a few minutes, and then I'm not sure who replied and said they're coming in. So we'll kind of let you just let us know when to start, and we'll go from there.
I will indeed. Okay. Well,
by the way, we went to the Cleveland Racket Club. They were awesome. It's a huge facility. I was really impressed.
Okay. So we've got BlazeBite, which is a hospitality management system presenting our lunch and learn. Yeah?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear us okay?
Awesome. I'm really happy to hear it. So take it away. I'm excited to hear about what you might be able to do with our F&B members and get going.
Perfect. Can you guys hear us okay? Can you hear us? Yes?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, I'll let Jeff start off here.
All right, so my name's Jeff. I have Brian here with me. I'm going to give you a quick introduction. Then we're going to go through a demo of how BlazeBite works. We figured that's the best way to do it instead of going through screenshots and kind of explain it and show you some of the analytics that we've done. So to get started, there we go. So Brian and I have been friends forever, and I figured I'd kind of share this with you. Basically, actually since college, we were college roommates, and we do everything together. And one of the things we did was when we were skiing on a trip, we ran into some issues when we went to a restaurant. And, it took forever for them to sit us down. And then when we finally got sat down, the food we ordered was phenomenal. We got wings and some French fries and all this great stuff. And then we were ready to leave. And they had a huge line of people trying to get in, and we were just trying to leave. And we're like, there's got to be a better way for us to pay and then get them seated so that they can sit down and start ordering, and some kind of table turnover, a better way to do that. And, on the drive home, we were like, there's got to be an app. We were looking up all this stuff, and we couldn't find anything. And, the next morning I woke up and I'm like, Brian, why don't we do this? Like, we know nothing about the food industry, but there's got to be a better way. And if no one has a solution, we don't want to be the guys 10 years from now going, what happens if that was us? We came up with that idea. So what we did was we started a business and we called it BlazeBite. Essentially, BlazeBite is a mobile application that allows you to order food from anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I mean stadiums, restaurants, golf courses, theaters, movies, food trucks, comedy clubs, bowling alleys, you name it. Anywhere that you want food and beverage, we made an application that allows us or the restaurant to deliver that food to you, and also let you pay and leave feedback as well.
All from your phone.
All from your phone. So I think that's kind of the intro. We don't have a whole lot of intro. Usually it's the demo that people get excited about and want to know how exactly this works. So I am going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen on here. Can you guys see my screen right now still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the same presentation though right now. It's like this is what everybody sees, I believe.
They're not seeing this background.
All right, well, let's see. Try to get it on there, and then maybe we can stop and then reshare. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he's just trying to mirror his phone onto the screen right now so that you can see the phone easier rather than holding up the phone to a camera. So you can kind of see what the customer sees when they go to look through your menu and order. All right, so maybe try stop share and then share again.
Mhm. Our members have gotten really used to this sort of bleeding edge technology plan.
Yeah, we're still, the mirroring was something new we added recently. So we've done plenty of Zooms.
Yeah,
The mirroring is something that we just started doing to try to help.
Share, is it sharing it? Oh,
it's been fantastic. Our members have really embraced me kind of winging it and figuring things out. Oh, really cool.
Yeah. So
Nice.
perfect. So this is, like I said, this is a little bit newer. We've used it on some with our IT guys. They use it a lot to show us some of the progress as they're improving the app. And just to give you a little background on that, we have in-house developers. We're all local here to Cleveland, and the in-house developers actually developed the Progressive mobile application. So if that kind of helps you, give you some reference. I'm sure a lot of people local here know Progressive Insurance. So
yeah, actually, that's a good point. All of us have full-time jobs right now, and we are doing this in addition to our full-time jobs. So it's kind of like we have two full-time jobs. Because a lot of people are like, oh, this is your side thing. I'm like, it's a side thing that still takes 40 to 50 hours a week. So you can call it a side hustle, but it is every bit a full-time job on top of doing the job that pays us. So
It's the nature of entrepreneurship. I think it's fantastic.
So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the
Yes.
demonstration. So the just so you know, it's available on Apple and also available on Android. You can download it for free. It doesn't cost the customers anything. Once you download the app, it'll ask you for basic information like your email and create a login. We are updating the technology to be able to avoid that the first time you want to use it. If you don't want to create a login, you don't have to. But the current version, you create a username and a password, and you'll set your default. But when you log in for the first time, you'll get to see all of these restaurants here.
yep, and this is just for demo purposes. This isn't the live list because we wanted to demonstrate everything. So these are a lot of these places we've actually talked to and given them demonstrations as well, and that's why they're kind of in here. So there's a lot of really great places. But yeah, that's kind of.
So the customer, when they download the app, they can view different restaurants that are using the technology currently or venues, and they can, if they like it, they can maybe possibly go try it out at other places as well. When you first get to your restaurant, there's going to be the little scan button at the bottom there. It's a little red button on your phone, and there's something at the table, or if you're in a bowling alley, it'd be at your lane. If you're at a sports venue, there'll be a QR code that you can scan. This is very unique to your seat where you're sitting, and it lets the restaurant or venue stadium know exactly where you're at. Okay. Each one of these is unique to the seat. So what happens is the customer will actually scan this QR code with the mobile application that they just downloaded. And sorry, you can see my leg there. But this is, so he's just scanned it. Now, basically what happened is now he's in the restaurant menu. He's able to start ordering. Okay. And he can see the entire menu. This is just tavern, bar, and grill. It's just a generic menu for a generic customer. But you can see at the top there's white, main menus, so alcoholic beverages, full menus, soft drinks, and you can click those to get to that section quickly, or you can scroll manually through the entire thing. Now, the first thing you'll notice, unlike a normal paper menu, you can see all the pictures. You can make some of these items your favorite, so that automatically orders favorite orders that you've ordered in the past. There's a lot of different features that are more interactive, unlike a traditional paper menu. Anybody who's used basic food apps like Uber Eats, it probably looks and feels a lot very similar to what you guys are seeing here, but it is pretty seamless. So let's say you wanted to order the Greek grilled chicken, or he's on original house salad. So you can see everything that's on there is checked, but maybe you don't like olives. So we're going to take off olives. Scroll down, you can pick your dressing. Maybe we do South or House Italian. So he's going to
Or
pick
just
House
Southwest.
Italian,
Doesn't
Southwestern
matter.
Ranch. And then maybe, you know, you want the dressing on the side. So at the bottom, you could put in your notes, can you please just put dressing on side. And what happens is you're going to add that to your cart. So basically what you're doing, much like you go on Amazon, you're building your cart right now before you actually send it over to the server or the kitchen or the bartender. But you can't have a salad without something to drink, right? So maybe let's add, I don't know, the Dortmunder, Great Lakes Dortmunder. You can add that. You can pick what size you want. So you do 22 ounce because it's lunch. You got to go back to work. And you go ahead and add that to cart. And then when you're ready to actually place your order, so you got 2 items in there, you can see that little bottom red button at the bottom has your cart there, and it has 2 items in it. So you go ahead and click that. And from there, this screen, we're probably going to get rid of in our next version because a lot of people don't use this. It's a swiping technology to edit your order or delete if you want, if you actually edit something. We're just going to put the edit and the delete button on there because a lot of people don't use the swiping technology yet. So eventually you'll just have that button on there rather than you having to swipe to see it. But it's there, it's intuitive. So everything looks right here. If we wanted to add 2 beers, you could do that at that time. And then you could go ahead and place your order right now. So once you place your order, it tells you, so you feel comfortable that the order went through successfully. And on the back end, so from a restaurant or venue standpoint, it prints a ticket. I'll try to zoom in on this ticket a little bit. We can't screen share this, but this is very important. The ticket, just so you guys can kind of, it's probably reading backwards, isn't it? I apologize. But the ticket has the nickname of the customer. So this is Jeff. So Jeff is up there. It has the location. So this is location number 1. So from a restaurant standpoint, it might be table number 1. From a venue standpoint, it might be section 101 for a stadium. For sports plant or something like that, it might be the bocce ball section. You know, I'm just throwing it out there.
Can it be golf cart number 1?
Yeah. Well, so it's going to say the location is stagnant, so you can't be moving. Yeah, it's a fixed location. So it might be hole number 1.
So hole number 1.
Right.
Okay.
That would be applicable, but necessarily we don't have any GPS locators right now to kind of track a golf cart yet. That's coming.
Sure.
That.
Okay.
So you can see here on the receipt, it says 1 original house salad, and you can see in bold, it says no olives. Okay. So that they know not to make olives. And then you can see in special instructions, it says dressing on the side. I know you guys can't see it for demonstration purposes here, but it's on there, I promise you. And you can see the 2 Great Lakes Dortmunder Gold 22 ounces. There is a tablet that goes along with the printer. So let's say somebody ordered Dortmunder and you guys just ran out. You could actually go in and you could click that order and you could edit that and delete those items so the customer doesn't get charged for them. And when you deliver their house salad, you could say, hey, I'm sorry, we don't have Dortmunders or something else you guys want to order. And they go ahead and place the order again. So let's go ahead and just place another order just to show them how they can do that really fast. So right now,
Do you want me to delete those?
Yeah, go ahead and delete those. So let's say we're out of Dortmunder. The waitress goes back to the table or the whole one and says, hey, we're out of Dortmunder. Do you want something else? They actually can delete. So we deleted that.
Yep.
Now the customer can add it.
Well, we should show them too. So if we know we're out of something on the actual tablet, we can click on the kitchen management. We can go into our draft beers, click on Dortmunder, uncheck that. And now when I come back to the screen, you're going to see that Dortmunder is no longer available under our draft beers.
So it's instant. So when you guys run out of something, you can instantly make sure that nobody else can order that again. Because you ran out, so you don't have the same issue over and over and over again. But the customer can place an order. So right now, this customer on this phone has an open tab. Okay, they can continue to order beers or more salad if they're still hungry. That's one thing that we found. We're currently in the Captain Stadium. And obviously they didn't have a season, but they've done some movie nights and some different things. That's actually where Jennifer used it for the first time. And we found that people actually tend to order more because their tab's open. It's very easy for them to just place another order for something else. So the tickets tend to be a lot larger on these than the average ticket sale. And that trend's the same in restaurants, sports plants, everywhere. We see that. I don't know if it's the fact that it's that easy to order, the fact that there's pictures going along with the food, so it makes it more of like a marketing technique, but we're not sure the actual why. We just know that there's a significant higher percentage of orders with they get higher dollar sales, higher ticket charges. So
yeah, with the captains, it was 3 times higher the average per head than it was with the actual them going to the concession stand, which is great. And
Well, I mean, especially for those venues, I don't have to, I was there with my 2 children alone. I don't have to leave my kids, wonder what they're doing, where they're going, get up and go to the concession stand, and then stand in line and place an order, only to go up maybe in my case for a blue moon and find that they're out. And then, no, I don't want Bud Light. That's not an adequate substitute. See you, bye. But then I've just, done all of that, really for nothing. Not that it's the end of the world, but that is something that made it so much easier and appealing, at least for me as a consumer. And one of the reasons why I reached out to you guys, because I was wondering, some of our restaurants are having a challenge getting server staff back in, for a variety of reasons. But, is it possible to open the dining room and have QR codes at the tables so that your kitchen staff and maybe a manager can manage a socially distanced dining room, but with a lesser amount of staff? Not that they don't want to welcome their staff back in or to hire more hospitality staff, but they're just really hard to find at this point. So this seemed like it might be a bridge in that space where you could still have your kitchen cranking out, full seats, but it's a little bit easier to order and to manage that interface. So how have you guys seen that that's the way that has worked in a dining room? I know that's how your tickets have been larger in large venues, but have you seen that play out in dining rooms at all or no?
yeah, so the number one thing I say is we're not trying to necessarily replace the server staff. It's just that we're making them a lot more efficient, so that there's less. You need less servers to handle more tables. Does that make sense? So we've definitely been able to see that. We've also seen like customers really like it at, for instance, like patios or different locations where maybe it's harder to get staffing to staff another section. So they're able to just put that out there. We've done meetings, like large meetings, chamber meetings even, where everybody's got their own tabs, and it's a nightmare when the server's trying to check out, where they've just forced everybody who's doing separate tabs or they're a part of this event just have to use BlazeBite, and then this way everybody can check out whenever they want and order whenever they want, and we know exactly where they're at, and it makes it a lot easier on the server rather than say interrupting a presentation and then saying, hey, what do you want to order, and then interrupting it again when they want to deliver the stuff. They'll just know exactly where to go, who ordered it, and when everybody's ready to check out, they're not playing Russian roulette with all these credit cards and trying to do that. So that's the other important part. During this time, it's really taken off the interest because the contactless ordering. You guys never touch the customer's credit card. They're not touching like a tablet on your table that everybody else has touched. They're touching their own phone. There's less, communication as far as the ordering goes. So it's very COVID friendly, and we've seen a lot of adaptation because of that as well.
And I think one thing you mentioned too is with tipping, we were expecting tips to be a lot lower with the wait staff because you're not doing as much, but it's actually been the opposite. It's over 20% that they're averaging on tips. And we think it's because people have a better experience. They're able to leave when they want to, because there's been so many times where you had great service, you had great food, and then you're ready to check out and leave, and you're stuck waiting 20 minutes. And it's because the server's backed up, where they're like, I'll get you your check. And you went from having a great experience and getting ready to leave a tip to, I'm not in a great mood anymore, so I'm gonna lower the tip. So we think that's one of the reasons. But yeah, the tips have been over 20% is what we're averaging. And the wait staff, has been surprised too, because they're like, and it's changing. The wait staff is more of like a customer service person instead of someone that just goes and gets your food. A lot of times, like with Willoughby Brewing Company, the wait staff had to adapt the way they talk to their customers, ask if they have questions about the app, say, I've noticed you've ordered a couple of porters. Have you tried our new peanut butter porter? And be more suggestive. And that's what we've seen is the good wait staff that learned how to adapt to this is actually benefiting from it, and they're able to have higher table turnover as well.
That was the other thing I was going to mention. So the tables are turning over quicker because they're spending less time order entering and also less time checking customers out. Believe it or not, that actually consumes a lot of time for the servers, so they're able to handle that quicker. So you have more people you're able to help out or serve, which creates more tables and more tips. So
of course, 5 minutes to put in an order entry, to another 2 or 3 for a second round of drinks, and then another 5 for the, can I have my check? Here's your check, process the check, back to the check. Absolutely. That's like 15 minutes per table turn.
and multiply that times 10 tables.
Or
Right,
you have a table of 15 people and they go, you know what, we need separate checks. And you're like, oh, you should have told me that in the beginning. Now they all have separate checks and they can all pay separately, and you don't have to process 15 different credit cards.
And there's less errors. So there's no, I told you I didn't want olives on there. And it's just plain English, black and white. Yes, I did say it, or no, I didn't, because you selected or you didn't, Not to say that you wouldn't still accommodate the customer, like, oh, I forgot to click no olives. Can you bring it out with no olives or whatnot? But, it creates less errors as well. So it's a lot more efficient and a lot less waste.
Sure. And, I'm thinking back to our after hours. We had an after hours at a member location, Rose's Run, and it was fantastic. They did a lovely job. They provided some complimentary snacks, and then soft drinks and that sort of thing were on the house. Alcoholic drinks were on your own. So then everybody had to go into the bar, but this would have been a nice application of that, to have everybody place their orders on their phones. And then the bar staff could just bring them to the table. And then the same thing, they could have had their apps of drinks there, but they just would have been no charge. And that would have been a really neat application of that, and easier on them. It makes it easier on the host at that point. Okay, great. I don't want to keep you. Go.
Yeah, let's continue with the demonstration.
To show the pay function.
Well, we need to get their beers. They still have beers,
yeah, that's
right?
Yeah, you forgot, we changed your beer out. So you're going to switch to Bud Light, even though Jennifer's against that. It's our next best option, right?
32 ounce, right?
And then once you add that, it'll print again. You go ahead and place your order, and it'll show up on the tablet again. It'll place the order. The most important part I wanted to show you guys is the checkout part. So once you guys get to this menu, and you'll see that it prints another receipt. There's still the tablet there. You can see it's just 2 beers on there, and it still says the location in the nickname. So I would go to table 1 and say, hey, Jeff, I got your 2 Bud Lights, and go from there. So it makes it real personal too. The checkout screen, you can set your default tip in the app. So in your profile, Jeff's got his set to 23% because he likes LeBron James for number 23. I don't know.
Exactly.
But so 23%, that's his default. You can check your order history. There's all kinds of your favorites on there. There's a lot of different functions. Your credit card gets stored automatically. We don't actually store the credit card. So we use a credit card processor. They're called Stripe. They are one of the number 1 in the country for online ordering, mobile ordering. They're actually the ones that Target switched to after they got breached, because they're one of the most secure. So we don't actually store the credit card. We just have the last 4 digits. Everything's stored by Stripe. They are a little more expensive as far as the credit card processing goes, but we felt security was more important than, cutting a 30 cents or, half a percent here off of the credit card fees.
Yeah, especially being a startup right now, one bad thing like that can just kill our whole company. So for now, security is the most important piece, and that's the reason we kind of went with the best that's out there.
So once you go ahead and hit pay, you can see your order details and make sure everything's correct if you want by clicking that view order details. Or you could just go ahead and click pay now. So there's your view order details. You can hit the back arrow at the top left. It'll take you back to your pay screen. And then just go ahead and hit pay now if that's what tip you want to leave. You can slide that bar left or right if you felt like your service was better or worse than where your default was. You can change it by just typing it in. It's just very interactive. You go ahead and hit pay now. And you can see where your credit cards, so you can have multiple credit cards on here. You actually could go into a restaurant, not even have your wallet on you, just have your phone and do this whole transaction without even having your credit card, physical credit card on you. So go ahead and hit the first credit card, you hit pay now, and then you can see that it's been successful. There's a little X in the top right. He's gonna click that so you can see that his payment went through successful. And then here's a quick survey. This is what the restaurant owners seem to be most interested in. A lot of times it's very difficult to get feedback from customers. They, if you give them surveys, they don't really fill them out. We found that over 60% of people fill this out because it's so quick and easy. How was your food? How was the service and the overall experience? And they can leave comments. And what I found is we send updated sales reports to anybody who uses the app, to the owners and or management. And the number one first thing they look at is always who left comments and who left feedback, because they want to know how their servers did and how the food experience was for their customers. So with over 60% of people filling this out, it's actually a huge advantage for you guys compared to the traditional point of sale and server model.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll have at the end of your receipt, call in and fill out the survey, or and if you've ever done those, they take 10 minutes. This literally you fill out in under 5 seconds. How was your food? It's pretty good. My service was great. Overall experience 4, and Jennifer did a great job. So I can do something like that and then click the rate button and instantly they have that feedback. And with our application, which we're going to go over in a second with the data analytics, we know what you ordered. We knew your food order. We knew who your server was. So we don't have to ask you 15 questions to get a better understanding. We can use all the stuff in your order history and apply that with those ratings and get a better average and say, this has been doing really well, or this has not been doing as well, or maybe a server has been better outperforming another server, and you can use that for coaching. There's lots of applications for that.
So number one question we get is, what if somebody forgets to hit pay? So what happens is after an hour or two, I think it's 2 hours set, it'll automatically charge their card. First of all, it's pre-authorizing as they're ordering, but it'll automatically charge their card and it'll leave the default tip. Okay. So whatever the default tip on the application is what it'll automatically tip. So you still get tipped. The server still gets tipped even if they forget to pay. And again, the customer selects that default tip when they sign up for the mobile application. So that's a really good experience for you guys. You don't have to worry about someone, dying and dashing on you as far as the restaurant goes, or even at the stadium and trying to track somebody down. Do you guys have, I'm going to open up real quick before he goes into any analytic reports. Just want to make sure if anybody has any questions.
Anybody from the peanut gallery? My question is, I guess, probably going into your analytics. So how does this enhance, or does it replace, or can it be used instead of a point of sale system? So most of our F&B members already have a point of sale. They already have some sort of reporting mechanism to see, server A did this at lunch, server A did this at dinner, that kind of thing. So how does this sort of lay on top of or integrate with points of sale? And maybe that's just the segue to your next section. So.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So right now, it's running coinciding with a point of sale. We don't have it. It's all customers ordering. We will have a feature down the road where, you could enter the order for the customer. So almost what they're doing with point of sales. We don't have that, but that's something we'll have very soon. It's we're talking in the next probably few months. So you could potentially replace your point of sale with this down the road. We also have toyed around with integration with some of the point of sale systems that are pretty popular right now. Toast is one of them. So there's some things that we're looking into with that as well, so that everything integrates to the same system. But right now, the way it is, and it's very easy and seamless to set up. Like we could build your menu in an hour or two and have this in your restaurant or your venue tomorrow, and help train your staff. So right now, the way it's set up, it's so easy to implement, and it just runs next to your point of sale. So if you have a printer for your point of sale, there'll be another printer there, and the same place they're grabbing tickets for the point of sale orders, they can grab them for the BlazeBite orders. It's just pretty seamless, and we try to make it as easy as possible to implement, because that's the number one thing. When a customer has to change over their point of sale, that's a pain in the butt. Nobody looks forward to that. It's a necessary evil sometimes, but we don't want to make that a big hurdle that you have to change your point of sale just to implement this mobile app technology.
Right. So one of the other questions that a member who could not join us today asked is, how might this be used for curbside pickup? So they're not set up to take menu orders from their website and hold them for the eventual arrival curbside of a customer. So have you done maybe parking space signs with the QR code where you scan right there and you place your order and then it's delivered to the curbside, or what has that looked like in a previous deployment for you guys?
So we haven't done. We're capable of having it. The only downside to that is you pull up, you place your order, you have to wait for the meal to be prepped then, and ideally, I think a lot of the systems that are doing well at curbside pickup, it's an order ahead of time and tells you it'll be ready in 40 minutes or 20 minutes, because nobody wants to sit in their car and wait 20 minutes. Now, if it's like a fast casual type restaurant, we found that we have toyed around with implementing it there. There's actually a famous like hot dog place by me that right now they have a horrendous ordering system. You can't go in, you got to pull into a parking spot, call them, place your order, and then they bring it out to you. And we're actually having some conversations with them. They're kind of seasonal, so they're going to be kind of dialing back here at the end of the season. But I think if this is still around next year, they definitely plan on implementing something like this into their plan. But so those, I think we do well with fast casual type stuff, but the restaurants that will take a little bit longer for food prep, I would say currently the current version doesn't have capability for that curbside, without modifying it the way customers do business with you, which might feel a little clunky the way, to try to make it work. You literally have to make it work for you.
Yeah. So the thing is too, we're not trying to compete with like Grubhub or Postmates. Some of those places let you, I know like DoorDash, Uber Eats, those are mainly delivery ones, but a lot of them have now added the feature to do pickup, and we can't compete with a company like that. So ours is more in house or in the venue. That's what we're really trying to work with, because that's something that those don't offer. Right now, the only way you can do it is having it delivered to your house. We're doing the same thing as Uber Eats, but instead of delivering it to your house, we're delivering it to your seat at the stadium, we're delivering it to your table, we're delivering it to your bowling alley that you're at. That's what we're trying to do. And that's really, so we're not trying to compete with those guys just because we can't. So unfortunately, we aren't doing anything with curbside delivery at the moment.
But we feel like it easily could be, when you download the app down the road, we talked about having a button, are you in-house or are you at home, pickup or in-house ordering, and
Right.
the same menus on there. You can even have a different menu for pickup than you do for in-house, because some people want in-house.
Right. A faster prep. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
we definitely see that.
Okay, cool. Well, let's talk.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's talk analytics.
Yeah, well, so here's a couple things. We can jump right into analytics, but I just wanted to talk about like some of the benefits of BlazeBite, which I think we've already talked about, and maybe we'll go through it quickly. So we mentioned it's safe, right? It's all digital menus, no cash, actually no card changing hands. So it's really helpful with COVID, what's going on right now. increased sales. So when you look at all the different places we've been, average increased order size is 27%. The data analytics, which I'm really excited to show you, those are world class. They're better than most other systems. And that's one of the things that we hear from the restaurants is, well, how do I get this for my point of sale system too? And right now, the only way we get that information is with the BlazeBite app. Or they're like, I want more surveys. How do I get more surveys? Well, you need more people using our app, and then you'll get more feedback from your customers. The feedback, like Brian had mentioned, over 60% of customers fill out that survey because it's so fast. Order accuracy, continual innovation. So our team's constantly working with our customers. And if we start to hear, like, you guys, having that curbside delivery is very important to us, then we're going to find a way to make that happen in one of the next versions. So being able to innovate and listen to our customers is something that we're working on. We have fast turnover, table turnover, so we make it easier for people to get in and out. And we're really one solution. This isn't necessarily a point of sale replacement. It's more of an addition, or it works next to the point of sale system to help people out. So with that, I kind of want to, yep. So if I click under this, there we go.
We're just going to go to the analytics real quick, because I know we want to be conscious of your guys' time. So a lot of point of sale systems have their own analytic reporting. Some are better than others. I would say very few are as good as this. And I'm not just bragging. It's because Jeff actually, his full-time job is he does this for Lubrizol. You know, the executives at Lubrizol, he literally provides data analytics for them to help make them make better business decisions on the different businesses that Lubrizol has. So, you know, it's definitely, he actually goes around and trains people how to make these different reporting throughout the company. So just to give you a little background, very few point of sale technologies will have this type of reporting.
Yep. So with that, let me just kind of go through this because I think it's really cool. So this will give you an example. Friday, here's what sales look like for our sample restaurant. It's more of a bar. 65% of the sales came through on alcohol. You can see Amanda, John, Sarah. Sarah probably left early that day. It kind of shows you how you did yesterday versus the prior week versus a 3-week average and a 6-week average. It's also going to show you the time of day where all the sales were made. It's going to give you an idea of your sales by product and your sales by check number. And what's great about this is it's all interactive. So not only does it look nice, but if I want to look at my alcohol sales, I can come here, click on it, and it's going to update the report. And you'll see everything update. And I can see 42% of it was actually liquor. And I can see Labatt Blue was number 1, Sky Vodka, Well Vodka. If I click on the liquor, it's going to actually break it out by the liquor areas. And we're going to see that it was Sky, Well, Fireball, Jameson. I can go up a level and maybe instead of looking at alcohol, I want to look at my food sales. And you click on this and you can see the appetizers, entrees. You can see if I actually click on Amanda, it's going to update with all of Amanda's sales and what she sold. If I go back a level and maybe I want to see by check number, I can actually click on the check number and it's going to show me what those people had bought.
And what time of day they bought it. Like, so where the bigger part of the sale was, 6 or 7 o'clock, all that stuff.
And you'll be able to, when you hover over this, it'll kind of give you quick what the ID was, the dollar amount, and let you hover over it so that maybe you don't have to click on them. And it's a cool way to look at this information. But one of the first things you may do when you look at this is go, well, cool, we're at 21.94, but we're down versus last week. Why are we down? So we'll go to the second page. and it's more of a bridge, so a waterfall chart. So I also have a finance background, so that's why I have certain graphs and things that I like to use. But for me, it kind of shows you, this is today's date, this was last week. So I can see I'm down, $268. Why am I down? Well, I'm up in liquor, I'm up in daily sales, I'm down in domestic bottles, I'm down in sandwiches, but if I click on liquor, it's going to actually show me all the liquors I'm up and all the liquors that I'm down. And if I were to, and this shows me all of my products I'm up and all my products I'm down by for the week. And it kind of shows you where you were last week and today's sales. So I can look at some of these, and let's, for example, click on sandwiches. I can hover over Philly cheesesteak and see that I'm down $70. Why am I down? So I can right click on this and I can drill through on this item to learn more, like what's going on with the Philly cheesesteak. So what's cool about this screen is it shows me the last 6 months of sales, and I can see who sold the Philly cheesesteaks. It's going to show me that
Downward trend.
yeah, there's a downward trend. It was fairly consistent, and then in July it kind of like dropped drastically. So I might start reading some of these comments, and it's by check number. So I'm going to go to the bottom to kind of read.
So these comments are only people that have ordered the Philly cheesesteak.
Correct.
So that's kind of cool too. Like it's all specific to that order, because most places aren't tracking. If people are leaving feedback, they're not tracking the whole order of the receipt too. So all these items and all this feedback are all together in one report. So.
And it's going to average things out too. So people may have liked the Philly cheesesteak, but they may not have liked the salmon that they had with it. So over time and with enough data, we'll be able to get a trend on where it's going. So you can't really use one data point. So over time, just again, with those 3 questions, we're able to start looking at information. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom to kind of see like why is it so low? And so it says the cheese tasted like an old dirty sock. Service was terrible. So that's not good. And I could see that Emily was the person. And sometimes you just get bad reviews. Food was cold, server took forever. Nice server, but cheesesteak tasted different. Bring back the old cheesesteak recipe. And as I start to read these things, I think, wow, you know what? Back in July, we got a new cook. And I don't know what he's using for cheese. Maybe he's using provolone when he should be using mozzarella or something else. But I can start making actionable decisions based off of the feedback that I'm getting. And a lot of times people aren't going to leave you feedback, right? They're just going to not come to your restaurant again. And that was one of the things when Brian and I went skiing. We're like, it's a shame that the owner's never going to know that I'm not going back. And it's just because we had terrible service. And I'd love to be able to leave that feedback. And I'm not going to go and do a Google review. I'm not going to go to Facebook. I'm just not that kind of person. But if there was a way after I was done eating and it was simple for me to leave feedback, you're going to leave it. And I think that's why we have 60% of people doing that. So this is just some of the stuff, some of the analytics. We also have these are your top 9 items, what sells best with it. So if I click on the Monday cheeseburger, right, you can see that it's mostly sold on Monday, but Absolute soft drinks, jumbo wings, those are things that sell well with it. If I were to click on the Fireball, it's going to actually show you what sells well with Fireball. And then there's another one that kind of shows you your wings, and you can see by month, by day of the week, and what sells well with the jumbo wings. If I want to see what alcohol sells well, I can click on that and it'll update the information.
So it helps if you're going to discount one thing, you can see what customers are ordering on other and maybe not discount that other item, so that you can make up, if you have lost leaders, you can make up those revenues. So that's the idea. But this is just an introduction into some of the analytics. We don't want to go into too much more detail than we already did, because I'm sure we want to be conscious of your guys' time. I know a lot of you guys are busy. It's
That's
lunch hour.
great.
So,
Well, thank you so much. I think that's an amazing overview, and the analytics are far beyond what I had as a server, and would definitely help with that manager's meeting in terms of this is what you do for suggestive selling this shift. That's especially those pairings. That's a really helpful piece of data. So I know we've got a couple of folks that might have questions. I'll open the floor for questions for Brian and Jeff. And if not, we'll turn you loose and you guys can say you were busy until 1 and just take a 30-minute lunch. So I'll open it up to the peanut gallery. Anybody? I don't see any questions. I think you might have been comprehensive in
somebody
your.
raised their hand. So Bunny.
Oh, did they?
Bunny Lacey.
Yeah, Bunny, you want to go ahead?
Hello.
Oops.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Oh,
good
there
now.
I
We
am.
can hear you.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to say that was a good job. I've never used an Uber, not an Uber. Well, I've never used an Uber, but I've never used any of those restaurant things either. And I love the idea that I could go to a game or something and just sit there and use my phone and da 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 da. So
Yeah.
even though I don't own a restaurant, I work with a lot of restaurants, and I think this would be a very cool, thing to tell them about, because those analytics, I'm in sales, at magazine sales, and that's what everybody's asking for today. And you've got it. So good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
Spread the
Thanks,
good word.
Bunny. I don't know. Bunny's a member. I don't know if you were on at the beginning of it, Bunny, but I was at a Lake County Captains game. I think Akron Rubber Ducks is doing the same thing. And I poked Trevor to see if he was able to join us for this one too, because I think that would be fun. But it was so nice to not have to get up. And everything was done so nicely, at least at Lake County Captains. The QR codes were tagged to the chairs that you were allowed to sit in. And then we were all appropriately distanced. And it just made for a really enjoyable event. And we missed the last one, but hopefully they'll have another one coming up. But yeah, it was definitely a value add. And actually, I don't think I would sit and watch a movie on that screen. We were through the net the first time. But the addition of, kind of feeling like we were out and about and doing something with the F&B, that kind of made the experience for sure. So I have all sorts of things cooking in my head about, drive-in movies and, how we can use this. For those of you that are listening, Jeff and Brian, and probably, unfortunately, some of their spouses might be roped into this, but they'll be at our golf event on Friday. The Stow-Munroe Falls Chamber is a small but mighty team, and we're going to try and shake things up at our golf outing on Friday at Foxden Golf Course. And so hopefully they'll be able to help us manage our lunch at the turn with some more social distancing and a little bit of tech flair. And we'll have some additional beverage carts roaming around that they'll help us with. And so we're excited to see it in action. And I was excited for the referral from Mentor Chamber too. They were very complimentary about you guys. So
Awesome.
if there are no other questions, we'll turn you loose and say thanks to Jeff and Brian for all of your amazing technology and your lunch and learn. We can't thank you enough, and we will see you on Friday at our golf event at Foxden Golf Course.
Awesome. Look forward to it. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you so much.
You guys ready?